Hello, my dear friend. Please allow me to send you a warm greeting and a deeply heartfelt embrace from across the distance separating us right now. I want to invite you, in this very moment, to gently set aside whatever you are doing. Let go of the tasks that are waiting for you, drop your shoulders completely, and if you can, find a truly comfortable spot to rest in your favorite armchair. If there is a slight chill in the room, perhaps you can pull a soft, warm blanket over your lap. Let us create a safe sanctuary together, a quiet haven where the noise of the world fades away, allowing us to step into a space of absolute stillness, deep comfort, and complete healing. I want you to journey with me for a moment and picture a scene that might feel deeply familiar to your own life. Imagine a quiet, peaceful morning in a lovely suburban home somewhere in America. The early morning sun is casting a soft amber glow through the window slats, illuminating tiny dust motes as they dance lazily in the quiet air. You wake up feeling rested, stepping slowly and deliberately into a kitchen bathed in soft light. You have a clear sense that you walked into the room to get something. Perhaps it was to pour yourself a warm glass of water. Maybe it was to grab a small spoon from the drawer, or perhaps you simply wanted to check if the morning coffee had finished brewing. But the exact moment you find yourself standing right in front of the refrigerator or right beside the kitchen counter, you freeze. Your mind suddenly encounters a vast, completely blank space. It is as if a sudden fog rolled in, wiping the slate clean. You cannot for the life of you remember what brought you into the kitchen. You stand there, staring into the quiet space of your home, and a sudden wave of quiet panic washes over your heart. Or think of another afternoon when you are getting dressed and putting on your coat to step outside for a breath of fresh air or a quick trip to the local grocery store. You glance down at the wooden entryway table near the front door, and there lie your car keys sitting quietly in the light. In that split second, a sharp, cold jolt of anxiety ripples through your chest. You look at those keys, but a strange, disorienting question hovers in your mind about how you are supposed to use them. Or you suddenly realize you have spent the last 10 minutes searching frantically for an object that has sat in that exact same spot for years. That specific sensation, the feeling of a tiny fragment of your memory, a small detail of your daily life, suddenly slipping through your fingers like water, evaporating into thin air, becomes the quiet source of a deep, unspoken fear. It is a completely invisible fear, a deeply private ache that you rarely, if ever, want to mention to your grown children, your spouse, or even your closest lifelong friends. We are not here to talk about cold medical jargon, nor are we going to dissect the clinical sterile terms you might read in a doctor's office. Right here, in this quiet space together, I want to gently sit with you and acknowledge that tightening in your chest. It is the profound vulnerability felt by someone who lived a vibrant, accomplished youth, someone who managed a successful career, directed complex projects, and served as the unshakable pillar of an entire household. You were the one who took care of every single detail, remembering every schedule, packing every lunch, managing every crisis, and guiding your children through every step of their lives. You used to be the person who kept everything meticulously organized, yet now you find yourself struggling to recall a simple name, a common word, or a small intention you had just a few seconds ago. This sudden lapse can feel like a direct blow to your dignity. It makes you feel deeply exposed, and you begin to harbor a quiet, terrifying fear that your own mind is turning against you. I understand so deeply what your soul is moving through right now. I know the heavy burden of that feeling, how every single time forgetfulness knocks on your door. It doesn't just mean you misplaced a piece of information. It drags along a whole storm of self-doubt, a feeling of inadequacy, and a profound anxiety about what the future holds. But my dear friend, right here, right now, I want to ask you to pause with me. Take a deep, gentle breath into your chest, feeling the cool, clean air fill your lungs, and then let it go, breathing out slowly, softly, completely. Tell your heart right now, it is okay to let out a long, quiet sigh of relief. You are not alone in this experience. There are millions of beautiful souls of your generation who are standing in their kitchens experiencing this exact same thing this very morning. And the most important truth, the core message I want to weave into your spirit today is this: you have not lost yourself. The natural biological changes in your brain can never define your true worth or who you are. Your true essence, the beautiful soul filled with a lifetime of love, wisdom, and kindness, remains completely untouched. It is entirely whole, unmarred by any lapse in memory. Let us slow our steps together today, allowing the storm in your mind to quiet down, and let the gentle energy of absolute understanding hold you close in this moment. To help us understand each other even more deeply, let us look closely at 3 everyday moments that I am certain you have experienced in one way or another. These are not dramatic events, but rather the quiet, painful friction points that happen within the ordinary rhythm of modern life, causing a silent ache in the hearts of so many older adults today. Think back, first of all, to a warm, brightly lit evening when your entire family has gathered together for a holiday dinner or a sweet Sunday supper. The living room is filled with the wonderful, chaotic noise of your grown children catching up and the bright, energetic laughter of your grandchildren playing on the rug. You are sitting in your favorite chair, watching them, your heart overflowing with a profound sense of gratitude and joy as you look at these beautiful extensions of your own life. Suddenly you want to call your beloved grandchild over to offer them a piece of pie or to ask them how their soccer season is going. You open your mouth to call out to them, but in that exact moment, their name completely vanishes from your mind. You hesitate, your lips move, but no sound comes out. That pause lasts only a few short seconds, but to you, it feels like an eternity of agonizing embarrassment. You quickly force a smile to cover up the awkwardness, using general words like, "Hey there, sweetheart, come over here to see me." But deep down in your chest, a cold sense of shame and failure settles in. You scold yourself, wondering how you could possibly forget the name of a child you love with all your heart. A quiet dread begins to whisper in your mind, making you worry that your children are watching you with pity, and that you are slowly becoming a stranger in your own home. Another scenario happens when you venture out into the world, perhaps meeting a group of old friends at a local coffee shop or a community center. You are in the middle of sharing a story you care about deeply, recounting a beautiful memory from your youth, a wonderful trip you took decades ago, or a meaningful life lesson you want to pass along. The story is flowing beautifully. Your friends are listening intently, nodding along with smiles. Suddenly, you reach the climax of your story where you need a specific word, the name of a town or the name of an old colleague, to tie it all together. And just like that, the word disappears. You freeze mid-sentence. You frantically search through the archives of your brain, but the harder you try to pull the word forward, the more empty your mind becomes. You look at the faces of your friends sitting across the table. They aren't laughing at you, but you notice a subtle shift in their expressions, a soft flick of worry, a look of quiet sympathy mixed with pity. That look of pity feels like a sharp needle piercing your pride. You feel deeply embarrassed, exposed, and from that moment on, you choose to close your mouth and stay quiet, retreating into the background because you are terrified of making another mistake in front of the people you know. The third VNK is the one you face completely alone, in the quiet solitude of your house when the sun goes down. It is the moment you hold a medical report you just retrieved from the mailbox, or when you are quietly reading an article on your tablet about health and aging. You see the word dementia or Alzheimer's printed on the screen. For an older adult, those words carry a terrifying weight, hovering over the mind like a shadow. Your imagination begins to run wild, sketching the darkest possible futures. You become terrified of the day you might have to leave your home for an assisted living facility, terrified of relying on strangers for your most basic needs, and devastated by the thought of a day when you might look at the face of your spouse and see only a blank space where decades of shared love used to be. Every single one of these painful moments, all of this hidden shame, is rooted deeply in a culture that prides itself on absolute independence. From the time you were a young child growing up in America, you were taught that your value is tied to your ability to stand firmly on your own 2 feet, to take care of yourself, and to never become a burden to anyone else. Because you have carried this belief your entire life, entering the natural season of aging can feel like a profound crisis. When you realize that your body and your mind are no longer obeying your willpower with perfect precision, you treat it as a personal failure. But my dear friend, please listen to the sound of my voice right now. Let me hold that shame for you. Let me bring comfort to that wounded pride. You have poured out your energy, your love, and your hard work for generations. What is happening within your brain right now is simply a natural unfolding of time. It is not a flaw, and it is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. You are completely worthy of love, tenderness, and immense respect, exactly as you are in this very moment. Let us step back for a moment and look at this through the lens of behavioral psychology. I want to share a truth with you that is both scientifically accurate and deeply comforting. The real suffering you are carrying hither and thither, the anxiety that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 o'clock in the morning, is actually not the fact that you are forgetting things. Forgetting a word or misplacing your glasses does not have the intrinsic power to make your life miserable. The true culprit, the hidden thief of your peace, is your intense fear of forgetting. You are suffering because of the frightening stories your mind is inventing about the future, not because of what is actually happening in the present moment. Let us trace the psychological loop that takes place inside your mind. As we cross the threshold of our later years, it is a biological reality that our neural pathways slow down and our brains take a bit longer to retrieve information. This is standard human biology. But when you happen to forget a tiny detail today, your anxious ego immediately interprets it as a catastrophic emergency. Your mind begins to bombard you with terrifying questions. Is this the beginning of the end? Am I losing my mind? Will I forget how to drive home next week? Will I become a helpless burden to my family? When your mind becomes trapped in this state of overthinking and hypervigilance, it triggers a physical distress signal throughout your entire body. Your sympathetic nervous system lights up, prompting your adrenal glands to flood your system with cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol, when present in high amounts over a long period, is incredibly exhausting to the brain. It specifically wears down the hippocampus, which is the very region responsible for forming and recalling memories. Do you see the heartbreaking irony here? Because you are so deeply afraid of losing your memory, you create a state of chronic, intense stress inside your body, and that very stress makes your brain tired, causing you to forget even more things the next day. You find yourself caught in a vicious cycle where fear feeds forgetfulness, and forgetfulness intensifies the fear. The venerable Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, gave us a beautiful way to understand the natural changes of life. He taught us that everything in this universe operates under the sacred laws of nature, a rhythm of arising, maturing, fading, and returning to the source. Your physical brain is an organic, natural structure, and it is bound by these exact same rhythms. Look out your window for a moment and watch the beautiful oak and maple trees standing in the yard. When the autumn season arrives, those magnificent green leaves that thrived all summer long naturally begin to turn gold, amber, and red. Eventually they become dry, loosen their grip on the branch, and drift gently down to the earth below. This is an entirely natural biological progression, a quiet and beautiful expression of time passing. You would never stand under an autumn tree, look at the falling leaves, and angrily scold the tree for failing, or accuse it of being broken. Of course not. You accept it with a peaceful heart as a beautiful, necessary season of life. Why then do you refuse to offer that same gentle grace to your own body and your own mind? The silver strands in your hair, the soft wrinkles tracing lines of laughter and wisdom on your face, and the gentler pace of your memory are nothing more than the autumn leaves turning color on the grand tree of your life. It is a natural process, a sacred law of biology, not a tragedy. Suffering only enters your heart when you fight against this natural flow, when you demand that your 70-year-old brain function with the frantic, mechanical speed of a 20-year-old brain. Please stop turning a natural, beautiful season of harvest and rest into a courtroom where you constantly judge and sentence yourself. Let go of the criticism, let go of the terror, so we can find our way back to the deep, unshakable peace that is already inside you. Now let us move beyond words and concepts. I want to give you a real practical tool, a gentle and grounding practice from the Plum Village tradition that you can use immediately. I like to call this practice the art of anchoring your soul when memory wanders. It is a very simple, very small exercise that requires no special effort. You can practice it anywhere, whether you are standing in the aisle of a grocery store or sitting alone in your living room, especially in those precise moments when you realize a memory has slipped away. Instead of letting your mind spiral into panic, instead of straining your brain, frowning your brow, and forcing yourself to dig through a foggy mind to find that missing piece of information, make a gentle promise to yourself to pause and move through these 3 steps of transformation. The first step is to stop completely. Just stand still. The moment you realize you are staring into an open closet wondering what you were looking for, or when a name vanishes from your tongue, drop all physical effort. Let your shoulders completely relax. Soften the muscles around your eyes and your jaw. Gently place one hand over your abdomen, just an inch below your navel. This simple act of placing your hand on your belly acts as a physical anchor, immediately pulling the scattered energy of your mind down, away from your spinning thoughts and placing it firmly back into the safe reality of your physical body. The second step is to breathe. You do not need to alter your breath or force yourself to take unnaturally long, deep inhalations. Just let your lungs move exactly as they want to, but in this moment, bring your full, loving awareness to that breath. As you inhale, feel the cool air enter your nose and feel your abdomen gently rise against your hand, like a soft balloon expanding. As you exhale, feel your abdomen relax and fall back down, feeling the soothing warmth of your palm radiating into your body. As you breathe in and out, quietly repeat these comforting words to yourself. Breathing in, I know a memory has drifted by. Breathing out, I smile with kindness to this present moment. Let this gentle phrase echo in your mind for 3 to 5 breaths. Inhaling, you accept the forgetfulness. Exhaling, you embrace it with total compassion. You will feel a wave of cooling, calming energy begin to wash through your nervous system, slowing your heartbeat and relaxing your chest. The third step is to touch the reality of the present moment. Once your nervous system has settled, look around you and connect with the world that is actually right in front of you. Focus your eyes on one specific, real object in your room. Look at the vibrant green of the houseplant on your windowsill. Watch the pattern of sunlight resting on the hardwood floor, or simply feel the solid, smooth warmth of the ceramic mug in your hands. Ask yourself a quiet question. Right now, in this exact second, is the sky still beautiful? Is the earth still supporting me? Is my heart still beating its miraculous rhythm? The answer is always yes. Life is still wonderfully complete, beautiful, and whole, completely independent of whether you can remember that one specific word or not. The deep value of this simple practice is that it immediately cuts the power line to the anxiety machine in your mind. You are no longer allowing a temporary lapse in memory to drag you into a frightening future or a regretful past. You anchor yourself fully in the absolute safety of the here and now. And the beautiful paradox is that when you stop forcing your brain to remember, when you give it permission to just relax and rest in the soothing energy of Chanship, your mental pathways loosen up, and very often the exact word or name you were looking for will float back into your awareness all on its own, effortlessly. To help this truth settle deeply into your heart, I want to share a beautiful story with you. This is the story of a man named Arthur, who lived his entire life in a small, quiet town in Ohio. Arthur is 72 years old, a retired mechanical engineer who spent his career designing complex machinery. You can picture Arthur as a proud, classic example of his generation, structured, precise, always adhering to a clear plan, a man who believed in having absolute control over every single detail of his life. For Arthur, life was like a technical blueprint. Every piece had to fit perfectly, and there was absolutely no room for error. But when Arthur crossed his 71st birthday, the natural process of aging began to show itself. It started with small things like forgetting where he had put his reading glasses. Then there were moments at the supermarket where he would find himself standing in the middle of the aisle for 10 minutes, unable to remember what ingredient he needed for dinner. The turning point happened one afternoon when he was driving along the familiar streets leading to the local park, a route he had driven at least 3 times a week for 30 years. Suddenly, as he approached a major intersection, the surroundings looked completely unfamiliar. He couldn't remember whether to turn left or right. The confusion lasted only about 2 minutes before his mind cleared, but it struck a terrifying blow to his sense of self. Arthur fell into a deep, quiet despair. He began to withdraw from his life, spending hours sitting alone in his study with the door closed, making excuses to skip family dinners. At night, he lay awake staring at the dark ceiling, his heart pounding with anxiety. He secretly spent hours taking memory tests online, and if he missed a single answer, he felt a crushing sense of doom. Every time he looked at Martha, his beautiful wife who had walked hand in hand with him for nearly 50 years, he would look away to hide the tears welling up in his eyes. He was tormented by the thought that one day he wouldn't recognize her face, that he would forget their beautiful life together, and that he would end up as a helpless burden, an empty shell, draining the energy of his family. Seeing her father slip away into depression, Arthur's daughter gently placed a book by Thich Nhat Hanh on his desk, a book about mindfulness and the art of letting go. At first, with his logical, engineering mind, Arthur was skeptical of these gentle philosophies. But in his deepest moments of pain, he decided to open the pages. One evening, he read a sentence that changed everything for him. Love is not an equation solved by the mind. Love is the absolute presence of a compassionate heart. Arthur decided to try a very small experiment. The next time his family gathered in the living room, instead of hiding in his study or worrying about forgetting someone's name, he walked out and sat down on the sofa right next to Martha while she was knitting. He didn't try to make conversation or tell stories. He simply took her soft, wrinkled hand into his own. He focused entirely on his breath, breathing in and breathing out slowly, anchoring himself in her presence. He looked deeply into her eyes, tracing the gentle lines around her face. In that quiet moment, a profound realization washed over Arthur. He realized that even if his brain forgot what day of the week it was, even if he couldn't recall the name of the restaurant they went to last night, the deep, boundless love he held for his wife was alive, warm, and completely whole within his chest. Arthur learned to make peace with his changing mind. When he stood in front of the refrigerator and forgot what he wanted, he stopped getting angry. He would just place his hand on his stomach, smile, and say to himself, "Well, my brain is taking a little recess right now, and that is perfectly fine. I will just stand here and enjoy the cool air and my breath for a moment." Arthur's journey shows us something incredibly sacred. The physical records stored in our brain cells may fade with time, but the capacity of the heart to love, to connect, and to rest in inner peace can never be diminished by age. It lives in a space that time cannot touch. From Arthur's story, let us gather our courage and look even more closely at two of the heaviest emotional shadows that tend to follow older adults when they face changes in their memory. The first is the deep fear of social isolation, and the second is the painful worry of becoming a burden to your children. Let us explore the first shadow. It is a very common pattern among older adults in America that the moment they notice their memory slowing down, they begin to pull away from the world. They start declining invitations to book clubs, church groups, morning golf games, or neighborhood backyard barbecues. They stop showing up. Why do they do this? Because they are afraid. They are terrified that they will stumble over their words, forget the name of a lifelong neighbor, or tell the same story twice and see their friends look bored or uncomfortable. They choose to isolate themselves, hiding away to protect their pride from the pain of an embarrassing moment. But this quiet withdrawal is actually the very thing that starves the soul and tires the mind. As human beings, we are wired for connection. We need the warmth of community to thrive. When you cut yourself off from the people who care about you, you leave your mind completely empty, creating a fertile ground for lonely, anxious thoughts to take root. Thich Nhat Hanh always reminded us of the healing power of loving, honest communication. Instead of hiding your vulnerability behind a wall of isolation, what if you chose to step forward with radical honesty? Imagine walking into your next gathering, smiling warmly at your friends and saying with light-hearted ease, "You know, everyone, I've reached the age where my memory loves to play hide and seek, and sometimes it goes on vacation without telling me. So if I forget a word or repeat an old story, please just laugh and be patient with me. I promise you, the moment you have the courage to share your vulnerability so openly, the heavy wall of tension will completely dissolve. Your friends won't look at you with judgment or pity. Instead, they will be deeply moved by your honesty, and they will naturally surround you with an even greater wave of warmth and protection. True honesty is the ultimate key to dissolving loneliness in old age. Now let us gently look at the second shadow, which often causes an even deeper ache, the fear of burdening your children. Deep within the heart of every parent, your children will always be your babies, no matter how old they get. Even when they are 40 or 50 years old with their own careers and families, you still want to be their protector, their source of strength and unwavering independence. You never want them to worry about you. So, when you begin to notice that you need their help to organize your medications, drive you to an early morning doctor's appointment, or help you understand a confusing legal document, a heavy sense of guilt settles over your soul. You look at their stressful lives, their busy work schedules, and you blame yourself for adding another chore, another worry to their heavy load. To heal this deep wound, we must look at it through Thich Nhat Hanh's profound teaching on interbeing. This wisdom reminds us that parents and children are not separate, isolated individuals where one person is a weight pulling the other down. No, you are fundamentally a part of each other. Your children are your continuation into the future, and you are the living root that brought them into this world. The relationship between you is a beautiful, continuous flow of life, an eternal circle of love. When your children were tiny infants, you spent years, sacrifice after sacrifice, waking up in the middle of the night, patiently feeding them, wiping away their tears, and answering the exact same simple questions hundreds of times over without a single thought of resentment. You didn't do it out of obligation, you did it out of an infinite well of love. Now, as you walk through the autumn of your life, when your mind is tired and needs their patience, it is a sacred opportunity for your children to practice their own gratitude. It is their turn to water the seeds of compassion, kindness, and devotion within their own hearts. If you react to your aging with anger, if you stubbornly push them away or live in a state of constant guilt, you are actually closing the door on them, denying them the beautiful opportunity to care for the roots that gave them life. Your children do not need you to be a flawless superhero who never grows old. What they need most is to see you at peace, to see you smile, and to watch you accept the natural seasons of life with grace. When you maintain a peaceful heart, even when you forget a few details, your gentle smile and your calm presence become the most beautiful gift, the most stable anchor you could ever offer your family. That is not a burden. It is a priceless inheritance of pure love. As the gentle current of our conversation brings us into a space of deeper reflection, I want to take a step into the profound wisdom of mindfulness. Let us explore the ultimate answer that Zen mindfulness provides for that quiet question that haunts so many nights. Who am I if I forget everything? Yet, modern Western society has long been shaped by the famous philosophical statement, "I think, therefore I am." This idea has accidentally conditioned us to believe that our entire value as a human being is tied directly to our thoughts, our intellect, and our conscious memory. Consequently, when you enter your later years and realize your analytical mind is slowing down, you feel a deep existential crisis. You panic, thinking that if your thoughts are no longer sharp, if your memory is fading, then you must be disappearing too. You wonder if your very existence is losing its meaning. To unlock this mental prison, Thich Nhat Hanh offers a timeless truth that lifts us completely out of these narrow biological fears. He teaches us that your true nature, the beautiful essence of who you are, has absolutely nothing to do with the mechanical memory of your brain cells, the dates, the names, the addresses, the intellectual facts. All of those things are merely the biological hardware of this life. They are temporary tools we use to navigate this world, but they are not you. Think of the beautiful metaphor of the river and its waves. Picture a majestic, wide river flowing peacefully toward the ocean. On the surface of that river, countless waves are constantly rising and falling. Some waves are high and dramatic, some are small ripples, some last for a long time, and others disappear in the blink of an eye. If a single wave defines its entire existence only by its shape, its height, or its fleeting appearance on the surface, it will live in constant terror as it begins to lower and fade back down. It will fear that it is being destroyed, that it is vanishing into nothingness. But if that wave takes a moment to look deeply inward, it will discover a beautiful truth. It is not just a separate, isolated wave. It is, fundamentally, water. The nature of the wave is water. The wave may rise, it may fall, it may appear, and it may disappear, but the water itself is never born and never dies. The water is always there, deep, peaceful, full, and eternal, beneath every single movement on the surface. In our conversation today, the memories in your mind, the cells in your brain, are nothing more than the waves on the surface of the river. They may have been incredibly active and fast during your youth, and they naturally quiet down and recede as you grow older. That is simply the law of the waves. But my dear friend, you are not the waves, you are the water. Your true nature is the deep, quiet water below. You are the energy of awareness, the capacity for pure love, the immense well of compassion, and the deep stillness of a soul that has weathered every storm of life. This is why I want you to remember this truth with all your heart. Your soul never forgets. Even when your biological memory softens, even when you cannot recall the name of a flower or a date from the past, your capacity to feel the beauty of that flower, your ability to receive a gesture of love, and the deep reservoir of inner peace within you remain completely untouched. You are still a perfect masterpiece of creation, a sacred and beautiful presence in this universe, in every single moment. Let go of the fear and feel the cool, peaceful water flowing within your soul. My dear friend, our shared journey today is coming to its gentle conclusion. I hope that over the course of our time together, your soul has found a quiet place to rest, and that the tight knots of worry and fear in your chest have begun to loosen under the warm light of compassion and chanship. I want to invite you to carry this lesson with you as a source of comfort for all the days ahead. Please remember to be incredibly gentle and kind to your mind. It has worked so hard for over 65 years, managing your life, holding your dreams, and navigating your world. Now, when it gets a little tired, when it forgets a name or a word, do not meet it with anger or fear. Welcome those moments of forgetfulness as a gentle reminder from the universe, a quiet whisper saying, "It is time to step out of your thoughts and step into your life." Let your busy mind rest and let your heart speak. The next time a memory slips away, remember your anchor. Stop, place your hand on your belly, take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and smile at the beautiful world right in front of you. Live your life like a grand, ancient tree, standing peaceful and strong as the autumn leaves fall away, knowing that your roots are forever held safe in the warm embrace of the earth. If our conversation today If these quiet words of comfort have brought a sense of peace to your heart, a little lightness to your spirit, I invite you to make a simple, beautiful gesture. Please subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to gather like this every evening to sit quietly together, share a warm cup of tea, listen to the gentle lessons of mindfulness, and keep each other's souls warm. Would you take a brief moment to leave a short comment below this video? You don't have to write anything complicated, just share one simple, beautiful thing that you can feel or see in your room right now. It could be the gentle hum of the refrigerator, the warmth of the blanket on your lap, or the quiet feeling of peace in your chest right now. Your presence here, your words, are an immense joy to me, and they give me the strength to keep walking this path alongside beautiful souls like yours. Now, from the very bottom of my heart, I wish you a night of deep, restorative peace. May you fall into a wonderful, uninterrupted sleep tonight, completely free from overthinking, completely free from any worry about tomorrow. Let your body and your mind completely let go, resting safely in the warm, protective embrace of this universe. You are safe, you are cherished, and everything in your world is unfolding exactly as it should. Let us sit quietly together now, listening to the deep tone of the mindfulness bell as it echoes into the silence, letting its sound wash over our souls. Goodbye for now, my friend, and I look forward to sitting with you again tomorrow evening.